Hey, my beautiful friends. I hope you're all well on this Friday afternoon. I just wanted to take a minute to stop in and post a short video. It won't be a long one because I do not have the stamina to do it today. My first video, this is actually take 3, believe it or not. In my first video, I wanted to talk to you guys about strongholds. But all day I have been wrestling with my makeup and how it didn't look good, and I just wasn't happy with the way I was looking. I know I don't have my makeup on now. I'm getting to that. I'm sure you're wondering, that's not makeup. You're right, it's not. But basically what happened in that video was I realized that I have a stronghold that is connected with my rejection stronghold, and I had to stop, take a moment, and I was going to actually redo my makeup. So I scrubbed my face. I probably shouldn't have scrubbed it, maybe it wouldn't look so red. I do suffer from rosacea, but it's pretty red now, but I just had to get it off. And I realized as I was scrubbing and praying, I was like, God, why am I so uncomfortable in my own skin? Why do I want to cover this up? Why am I always striving to look perfect? And if I don't, why does it bother me so much? Why can't I just accept me for me? And I realized when he revealed to me that it's because of my rejection stronghold. And I strive to appear to be perfect because I fear that if I'm not, people will leave me. And I know that is part of an issue in my childhood where my dad left a lot. Now as an adult, I realize that he left because of his addiction, and he didn't want to expose us to his addiction and his problems and the issues that he had surrounding him. And I realized that I feel that if I cover myself with makeup and if I look perfect, I mean fully dressed, accessorized, matching makeup, hair curled, everything, if I'm perfect, people won't leave me. But that's so false. And it's not true. And I've got to work through that. And I have to learn to accept myself for who I am. And if I'm having a bad skin day or a bad hair day, then that's okay because God still loves me. And as I work through this stronghold, I'm going to be writing about it. So if you've missed my last post about slaying your mental strongholds, I suggest you go read it. And I break down how you identify, what causes them, and biblical solutions on how to solve them. So today, God gave me a revelation and allowed me to see something about myself that I need to work on and I need to change. And I need to accept that this is me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And I'm going to be writing about it as I go through this and I work through it in my mind with God, praying and just reading His Word and accepting me. And you know what? That goes for you too, because you can accept you for who you are. Because we live up to so many expectations, and you know, society expects us to be a size 0, but in reality, you know, we're like size 16. It is what it is, you know? And I don't need airbrush perfect skin. I mean, this is who I am. And I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to look perfect because I'm not perfect. And I'm lying to myself by making myself make up myself to be perfect. But in reality, I'm not perfect. That's not what makes people stay. I mean, that's their own choice, that's their own decision, but that does not affect and tell you who you are, because you are who God says you are, and you are loved, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made just the way you are. My eyebrows were overplucked as a teenager. I fill them in almost every time, and I suffer from rosacea. And a lot of times I am completely covered. Ask my friends. I never leave the house without makeup on or, dressed to Hannah's, whatever you want to call it. But those are expectations that I have to break for myself, because they were somewhere along the way in my mind. I thought I could cover myself and be accepted, but that's not the case. So that was a very powerful revelation for me today. And if you haven't already, go check out the Mental Strongholds blog called Slaying Your Mental Strongholds, and go check it out. And I hope that as I get through working on this, I can do the original video I was planning on doing, and we can talk about it more, because we all suffer from strongholds. We all have something, and they prevent us from being who we're called to be, who we're meant to be, and they make us into someone who we don't want to be. And when we look in the mirror at ourselves and we're like, whoa, I don't like this. And, God starts dealing with you and speaking to you and show you and revealing to you things that you need to change. And it's powerful. And it's not pretty when that happens. It hurts, because you're like, ooh, I didn't want to see that about myself. But when you're looking at God's word and what God says, and then you look at yourself and you're like, oh, I've got to work on that. But His grace and His mercy is so much that once you admit and realize your faults and your shortcomings and the areas you fall short, there's no judgment there. And it's a peaceful feeling once you realize and you get to that place with God where you've met Him and you have bowed down and you have surrendered, and you realize that, wow, that was easy. And you have to get there before you can start slaying these strongholds, and you have to accept what you find out about yourself, and you have to allow God to work on you and heal you, because we can't do it with our own power. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed, and I will be talking to y'all soon. Have a great weekend.